Ancient China. What if we told you that somewhere on Earth you can walk through palaces where emperors ruled for over 500 years, explore tombs guarded by thousands of life-sized warriors, and climb walls that stretch further than the distance from New York to Miami? What if we revealed places where Buddhist monks still practice in temples carved directly into cliff faces 1,500 years ago, where ancient trade routes still echo with the footsteps of silk merchants, and where architectural marvels built without modern machinery continue to defy engineering understanding? This isn't a journey back in time. This is China today, where 5,000 years of continuous civilization has created the world's most extraordinary collection of living historical sites. From the Forbidden City, where Ming emperors held court, to the Terracotta Army that guards China's first emperor, these aren't museum pieces gathering dust. They're breathing monuments where ancient wisdom, architectural genius, and spiritual traditions continue to shape modern life. Welcome to Ancient China, where history isn't something you read about in books. It's something you walk through, touch, and experience firsthand. Today, we're exploring 15 timeless wonders that preserve dynasties, philosophies, and innovations that changed human civilization while remaining vibrantly alive in the 21st century. Picture this: a wall that took over 2,000 years to build and can be seen from space. Temple complexes where kungfu masters still train using techniques passed down through 40 generations. Underground cities carved from living rock that house thousands of Buddha statues, each one unique. These places don't just preserve Chinese history, they are Chinese history, continuing traditions that have survived wars, revolutions, and millennia of change. But here's what makes ancient China truly extraordinary. Unlike ancient civilizations that exist only in ruins, Chinese culture has maintained unbroken connections to its imperial past. The same architectural principles that guided palace construction 600 years ago still influence building design today. Traditional medicine practices developed 3,000 years ago continue in modern hospitals. Philosophical teachings from ancient masters still guide daily life for over 1 billion people. From the Great Wall that protected dynasties to the Silk Road cities that connected East and West, from imperial palaces to sacred mountains, we're about to explore sites where you can literally touch 5,000 years of human achievement while witnessing how ancient traditions adapt to modern realities. Before we begin this journey through living history, we want to hear about your connection to ancient cultures. Have you ever stood in a place where you could feel the weight of centuries? Tell us about historical sites that have left you in awe in the comments below. And if you're ready to discover how ancient China continues to shape our world today, subscribe to Travel Earth Adventures and hit that notification bell. These destinations will show you why China isn't just preserving its past, it's living it every single day. The Great Wall, the world's greatest fortification. Stretching over 21,000 kilometers across mountains, deserts, and grasslands, the Great Wall represents humanity's most ambitious construction project. A defensive masterpiece built over 2,000 years by multiple dynasties that demonstrates how ancient engineering solutions created structures so magnificent they continue to inspire wonder in an age of space travel and digital technology. The wall we see today primarily dates from the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644, when previous defensive walls were connected and reinforced to create an integrated defense system protecting China from northern invasions. What appears as a single wall actually represents multiple walls, barriers, and fortifications that evolved as Chinese military technology and territorial boundaries changed over centuries. Battling Section, located 70 kilometers north of Beijing, provides the most accessible Great Wall experience, where restored fortifications demonstrate the engineering sophistication that allowed this massive structure to survive earthquakes, weather, and warfare for over 600 years. The wall here reaches heights of 8 meters, while incorporating watchtowers, barracks, and supply routes that supported thousands of soldiers. Construction techniques varied by terrain and available materials, with workers using local stone in mountainous areas, rammed earth in deserts, and innovative combinations of brick, stone, and mortar that created walls capable of supporting cavalry charges while resisting siege weapons. The wall's internal structure includes drainage systems and foundations that continue to function after centuries of extreme weather. Mutianyu section offers dramatic mountain scenery, where the wall follows ridge lines through forests that change color dramatically with seasons, creating photography opportunities where ancient fortifications frame natural beauty while demonstrating how Chinese builders adapted massive construction projects to work with rather than against natural topography. The human cost of Great Wall construction included millions of workers, soldiers, peasants, and prisoners, whose labor and sacrifice created this monument to imperial ambition. Modern historians estimate that hundreds of thousands died during construction, making the Great Wall both an architectural triumph and a testament to the human cost of monumental projects. Defensive innovations along the Great Wall included beacon tower systems, where guards use smoke signals and fires to communicate across vast distances, creating early warning networks that could transmit information from border regions to Beijing within hours. These communication systems represented sophisticated understanding of logistics and coordination across continental distances. Forbidden City, the heart of imperial power. Serving as home to 24 emperors across nearly 500 years, the Forbidden City represents the pinnacle of Chinese palatial architecture, a complex of 980 buildings arranged according to ancient principles of cosmology and power that created living spaces where every detail reflected imperial authority while preserving traditions that continue to influence Chinese culture today. Built between 1406 and 1420 during the Ming Dynasty, the Forbidden City required over 1 million workers and represents the largest palace complex ever constructed. The buildings follow strict hierarchical arrangements where the emperor's quarters occupy the center, while supporting structures are positioned according to rank, creating architectural representations of Confucian social order. The outer court includes the Hall of Supreme Harmony, where emperors held coronations and major ceremonies in a space designed to overwhelm visitors with imperial grandeur. The hall's massive wooden structure, built without nails using traditional Chinese joinery techniques, demonstrates construction methods that create earthquake-resistant buildings using only hand tools and human labor. Traditional Chinese architectural principles throughout the Forbidden City include feng shui positioning that aligns buildings with cosmic forces, color symbolism where imperial yellow represents earthly power, and roof designs that incorporate mythical creatures protecting against evil spirits. These elements create environments where architecture serves both practical and spiritual functions. The inner court provided private imperial family quarters where emperors lived according to complex protocols that governed everything from daily routines to seasonal ceremonies. These intimate spaces reveal how absolute power required constant ritual performance while maintaining human-scale living environments within monumental public architecture. Imperial gardens within the Forbidden City demonstrate Chinese landscape design principles where artificial mountains, water features, and carefully positioned plants create miniature natural worlds that provide contemplative spaces within urban palace environments. These gardens preserve aesthetic traditions that continue to influence landscape architecture worldwide. Terracotta Army, Guardians of Eternity. Discovered by farmers digging a well in 1974, The Terracotta Army reveals the ambition of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, who commissioned over 8,000 life-size clay warriors to guard his tomb, an underground military force where each figure is individually crafted while demonstrating artistic and organizational capabilities that redefined understanding of ancient Chinese civilization. The army's creation around 210 BCE required workshops employing thousands of craftsmen who developed mass production techniques while maintaining individual character in each warrior. The soldiers represent different military ranks, regional origins, and specialized roles, creating a ceramic population that reflects the diversity of Qin Dynasty military organization. Archaeological excavations have revealed 3 main pits containing infantry, cavalry, and command units arranged in battle formation, while additional discoveries continue to expand understanding of the tomb complex's scope. The site demonstrates how ancient Chinese rulers conceptualized afterlife requirements that included full military protection and administrative systems. Craftsmanship details in each warrior include unique facial features, hairstyles, and armor designs that suggest individual portraits rather than mass-produced figures. Recent research indicates that many faces were modeled after real soldiers, creating a ceramic army that preserves actual people from over 2,000 years ago, while demonstrating artistic techniques that influenced Chinese sculpture for centuries. The broader tomb complex extends far beyond the Terracotta Army to include acrobats, officials, and animals that were intended to serve the emperor in death as they had in life. This massive undertaking reveals how ancient Chinese concepts of imperial power extended beyond earthly rule to include cosmic responsibilities requiring eternal preparation. Temple of Heaven, where earth meets sky. Built in 1420 as the ceremonial center, where Ming and Qing emperors performed annual rituals to ensure heavenly favor for agricultural harvests, the Temple of Heaven represents Chinese cosmological understanding made architectural, a complex where circular and square forms symbolize heaven and earth while creating acoustic and visual effects that seem to connect human ceremony with cosmic forces. The Hall of Prayer for Good Harvests stands as a masterpiece of wooden architecture built without nails, where 28 massive pillars support a triple-layered roof representing seasonal cycles while creating interior spaces that amplify sound in ways that made imperial prayers audible to heavenly powers. The building's reconstruction after lightning damage in 1889 used original techniques that preserved its acoustic properties. The Imperial Vault of Heaven creates the famous Echo Wall, where sound travels around the circular perimeter, allowing whispered conversations to be heard clearly on the opposite side. This acoustic phenomenon demonstrates how Chinese architects incorporated scientific understanding of sound waves into religious architecture, creating buildings where physical laws enhance spiritual experiences. The circular mound altar provides the ceremonial focus where emperors performed winter solstice rituals that maintained cosmic harmony between heaven, earth, and human society. The altar's mathematical proportions, based on the number 9 and its multiples, reflect Chinese numerological systems that connected architectural design with universal principles. Traditional ceremonies at the Temple of Heaven required elaborate protocols, where imperial dress, ritual timing, and ceremonial movements followed precise requirements that maintained the emperor's role as intermediary between human and divine realms. These rituals demonstrate how Chinese imperial power depended on spiritual as well as military authority. Shaolin Temple, birthplace of Kung Fu. Founded in 495 CE, Shaolin Temple preserves 1,500 years of Buddhist tradition while serving as the legendary birthplace of Chinese martial arts. a monastery where monks developed fighting techniques that became philosophical systems, combining physical discipline, spiritual practice, and cultural preservation in traditions that continue to influence global understanding of mind-body integration. The temple's history includes periods of imperial favor and persecution, destruction and reconstruction that demonstrate how Chinese Buddhism adapted to changing political conditions while maintaining core practices. The current temple complex represents multiple rebuilding efforts that preserve traditional architecture while adapting to modern requirements for tourism and religious practice. Kung Fu training at Shaolin combines Buddhist meditation with martial arts techniques that were originally developed for self-defense and physical fitness. The 72 unique Shaolin techniques include both external martial arts, emphasizing strength and speed, and internal practices focusing on breath control and energy circulation that demonstrate Chinese holistic approaches to human development. The pagoda forest behind Shaolin Temple contains over 240 stone and brick pagodas marking the graves of important monks, creating a forest of memorial architecture that spans centuries while demonstrating the evolution of Chinese Buddhist funeral practices and architectural styles. Each pagoda reflects the spiritual achievements and social status of individual monks. Modern Shaolin preservation includes martial arts schools where students from around the world study traditional techniques while supporting the temple's continued operation. These schools demonstrate how ancient practices adapt to contemporary interests while maintaining authentic transmission of knowledge that might otherwise disappear. Potala Palace, roof of the world. Rising 13 stories above Lhasa at 3,700 meters elevation, the Potala Palace served as the winter residence of the Dalai Lama, while representing Tibetan Buddhist architecture at its most magnificent, a structure that combines fortress, monastery, and palace functions in buildings that seem to grow from the mountainside while preserving cultural traditions that developed in one of the world's most challenging environments. Construction began in 1645 under the 5th Dalai Lama, incorporating earlier structures while creating a complex that could house thousands of monks, officials, and pilgrims. The palace's design reflects Tibetan adaptation to extreme altitude and weather, while incorporating Buddhist cosmological principles that connect earthly architecture with spiritual understanding. The White Palace housed administrative offices and living quarters, while the Red Palace contained chapels, meditation halls, and the tombs of previous Dalai Lamas. This architectural division between secular and religious functions demonstrates how Tibetan culture integrated spiritual and political authority while creating spaces appropriate for different activities. Interior artworks include thousands of murals, statues, and manuscripts that preserve Tibetan Buddhist art traditions while documenting historical events and religious teachings. The palace's libraries contain texts that preserve Tibetan language and literature, while its meditation halls continue to support Buddhist practice according to traditions that developed over centuries. Cultural significance of the Potala Palace extends far beyond architecture to represent Tibetan identity and Buddhist spiritual achievement in ways that continue to inspire pilgrims and visitors from around the world. The palace demonstrates how monumental architecture can embody cultural values while adapting to challenging environmental conditions. Mogao Caves, Silk Road treasures. Carved into cliff faces at Dunhuang over 1,000 years, the Mogao Caves preserve the world's largest collection of Buddhist art while documenting cultural exchange along the Silk Road. 735 caves containing murals, sculptures, and manuscripts that reveal how Buddhism adapted to Chinese culture while preserving artistic traditions from Central Asia, India, and the Mediterranean world. The caves' creation began in 366 CE, when Buddhist monks began carving meditation retreats and chapels into sandstone cliffs at this crucial Silk Road oasis. Subsequent generations expanded the complex while adding art that reflects changing Buddhist practices and the diverse cultural influences that met at Dunhuang's crossroads location. Artistic masterpieces within the caves include murals covering over 45,000 square meters that depict Buddhist stories, historical events, and daily life across multiple dynasties. The paintings demonstrate artistic techniques and cultural knowledge that reveal how Silk Road trade routes transmitted artistic styles alongside goods and religious ideas. The library cave, sealed around 1000 CE and rediscovered in 1900, contained over 50,000 manuscripts in multiple languages that document religious, literary, and commercial activities across Central Asia. These texts preserve languages, scripts, and knowledge systems that would otherwise have been lost, while revealing the international character of medieval Chinese culture. Conservation challenges at Mogao include protecting fragile paintings and sculptures from environmental damage while managing tourism pressure that threatens artworks created over centuries. Modern conservation techniques combine traditional knowledge with scientific analysis to preserve artworks for future study and appreciation. Conclusion: where ancient wisdom guides the future. These timeless wonders represent far more than historical curiosities. They preserve living traditions that continue to influence how over 1 billion people understand philosophy, architecture, governance, and spiritual practice, while demonstrating that ancient wisdom remains remarkably relevant for addressing contemporary challenges and opportunities. From the Great Wall's demonstration of organizational capability to the Forbidden City's architectural principles that continue to influence modern building design, these sites prove that ancient Chinese innovations in engineering, arts, and social organization created solutions that remain effective after millennia of testing by history's greatest challenges. What makes ancient China truly extraordinary is its demonstration of cultural continuity, how traditions, practices, and knowledge systems have adapted to changing conditions while maintaining essential characteristics that connect modern Chinese culture with 5,000 years of accumulated wisdom and experience. These destinations remind us that visiting ancient China means encountering not just historical artifacts, but living traditions that continue to evolve while preserving insights about human organization, artistic achievement, and spiritual development that offer valuable perspectives for understanding our contemporary world and future possibilities. Thank you for joining us on this journey through 5,000 years of living history. If this exploration has inspired you to experience these ancient wonders while supporting conservation efforts that protect both historical treasures and cultural traditions, please give it a thumbs up and share which site most amazed you with its combination of historical significance and contemporary relevance. Don't forget to subscribe to Travel Earth Adventures and hit that notification bell. We're constantly exploring destinations where the past illuminates the future while celebrating the cultures that preserve humanity's greatest achievements for coming generations. Which ancient Chinese wonder most challenged your understanding of what's possible when civilizations commit to long-term thinking and cultural preservation? Tell us about historical sites that have connected you with humanity's greatest achievements in the comments below. Until our next adventure into places where ancient wisdom guides modern life, travel respectfully, support cultural preservation, and remember that the most profound experiences come to those who approach historical treasures with curiosity about how past achievements can inspire future possibilities.